Hello. Hello, everybody. How are we doing today? We have some silage to do here. It's not Tuesday. Is it not Tuesday? You sure it's not Tuesday? It is Tuesday. Yanna's trying to confuse me already. He knows that I'm not good with days of the week. Thank you, whoever that was, for... I think that's a Twitch follow. Yes, the Astro Gamer 06. Thank you for the follow on Twitch. How am I feeling? Tired. Hello, Ernie. How's things? Pretty good. Pretty good. I'm tired today. Yesterday I didn't stream for one very simple reason. I woke up yesterday and my back was just ruined. Like, I was in so much pain because my back had just completely gone yesterday when I woke up. Screams multiplayer. I will get back to multiplayer soon. Tyler 00707, thank you for the follow. Got black box scores through today. They couldn't have taken longer. What? Also, why am I reading YouTube chat when I can read Restream chat? Hello, Santa Claus for the Devil. Yeah, that bug that was going around because you'd lay about for a couple of days, your back was agony. See, mine's screwed because of the cough. So it's doubly fun, and the fact that I need a new mattress for my bed. Not fun at all, Yanis. Am I gonna swap on the tractor What? This is only the 4th stream. I'm not gonna, like, swap tractors completely at random. Why would I do that? I get that some people on YouTube do that and just, like, constantly... Exactly, Arnie. Especially when you've had it for like a month. Just had a really sore head, and wherever you stand, you feel like you're gonna pass out. I mean, I've not felt that bad today. Or the last few days. Really, this excavator one, Hitachi one. Do I think console could have it? No. Hitachi, no, because Giants, as far as I'm aware, I could be wrong. As far as I'm aware, Giants don't have a license for Hitachi specifically. Now they might, and I might not know about it before, you know, it comes out on console. And people start saying, but Dave, you said it wouldn't come to console. And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't realize Giants had a Hitachi license. Hitachi is feed, isn't it? Yes, but they do need the Hitachi specific license. Therein lies the problem. They do have a Fiat specific license. It's to do with naming and trademarks. Drew, so it's not just, oh, Giants have Fiat, therefore they can have all Fiat brands. Would I say the DLC is worth it? Class DLC? Absolutely. It's one of the better DLCs Giants have brought out, because there is pretty much something for everybody in it. Unless you don't like Class, in which case there's nothing in it for you. Aren't actually not part of John Deere. What they do, what John Deere do is very odd. Is they like do licensing agreements with other brands? For example, the W330 combine is a Sampo Rosenlu. A lot of their grass equipment are, I think, Coons that have been repainted. John Deere has some weird things going on. Why don't you follow me? Because I can't be bothered. Is grass messed up a bit on Shamrock? Yes. It is slightly screwed up due to issues that got caused when Oxy was trying to fix stuff for console, basically. He is human, he does make mistakes, and he seemingly made some mistakes. You can kind of see it off to... No, it's under the chat. Can I get it to sparkle somewhere where it's visible? Yeah, in front of the tractor there you can kind of see it sparkling white. That's not supposed to happen, that's a cut grass texture. Why didn't they do crowdsource challenge again? Didn't fancy it? Simple reason is the challenges that I do tend to peter out fairly quickly in terms of popularity. Hello, Eddie. Couldn't they rebrand it as John Deere? I mean, if John Deere used that in real life, then totally. That would be a way around it. Even though it's a Hitachi, they could totally do that. Fair enough, you enjoyed it. I enjoyed it too, but the problem is that, like, the challenges, especially crowdsourced, where it kind of ramps up to a silly amount of difficulty fairly quickly, it kind of, the popularity and interest peters out fairly quickly, because people realize that everything's going to move very slowly because of the rules. Rebrand as Lizard, have custom colors on it, that's another option. Do I own Field 7 there? Yes, I do. What's that grass pickup called? It's called a forage harvester. It's by 4D Modding. It is the... I can't remember what the brand is. I feel bad now. Lely P300. What are you on about? A bit of everything. Kind of the main topic in chat seems to be stuff coming to consoles and ways around the console rules. It's the most beautiful map. It's my favorite map, but I'm biased. Do I want to hear a joke? Do I want to hear one of your jokes or like a good joke? Because there's a difference between those, Eddie. Well, I was gonna say something, but I forgot. Yeah, I'm biased when it comes to Shamrock, because, like, number one, I helped test the map. Number two, you know, I gave Oxy the very rough and vague guidelines he used to make the map in the first place. I left the guidelines intentionally vague so that Oxy could make an Oxy map and not just Oxy making a map that Dave told him to. Because that wouldn't be fun. I don't know, Eddie. Where did Winston Churchill keep his armies? Traffic is cool. Yeah, that's... it's a uniquely Oxy thing, is in introducing... Yeah, but everything is new orders? No. Dear, what have they ordered now? I'm presuming it's going to be like a bunch of 321s. Because if they got a near complete 321 fleet, they can, especially the 321 LRs, they can pretty much do 90% of the routes with the 321s. Oh, two new 330s! That's interesting. I guess they want to replace the remaining 75s. Or have, I guess, spares for the 330s they do have. Did anybody get the joke? No. Should go for A340? No, A340 is a terrible idea. If Aer Lingus were going to change to a different Airbus, I would expect them to go for the 350. That would be the better option. The 340 is being phased out by most airlines because it's horrendously bad. The 350 is very much a replacement for the 340 and the A380. So, that'd be the one that, if I was in Aer Lingus management, I'd be looking at. But the 330, I think, is more than capable of dealing with Aer Lingus passenger numbers. So new runway going to be 747 ready. Existing runways can't handle 747s. If they need to. The existing runways can and have in the past deal with 747s. The issue is, basically, that to get to the runways, you have to cross runways. Like if you're heading to... I forget which runway it is. There's one runway where you literally have to cross the other one. And if they're running parallels, they can actually do arrivals one runway and departures on the other, and increase traffic. Couldn't they rebrand the excavators Fiat? No. Is it 1634? There's another farm stream. I mean, I stream it this time pretty much daily. Sympathy. If somebody else is streaming at the same time as me, not my problem. Frankly. I agree with the sentiment. Maybe work on the words there, Tiernan. A340 is derpy as hell. How come what? Oh, why couldn't they rebrand as Fiat? Because Hitachi would get up in arms. Even though Hitachi's owned by Fiat, Hitachi would there would be issues with Hitachi, potentially. Other person shouldn't do it. Now, they can stream whatever the hell they like, Sympathy. Don't go saying that. Don't go saying, like, oh, the other person should be streaming. No, everybody can stream whatever the hell they like. There's no rules saying, oh, if X person is streaming, you can't. Comes across a bit rude to me. I mean, they're not stealing views. Let me put it this way, Timothy. If anybody was going to be annoyed at somebody streaming over me, it would be me. You don't need to worry about that. That's my concern. And I'm not concerned. Hey, SFTN. Fair play to whoever else is streaming. Someone did a city... What did you do today, Alex? Somebody else is streaming over me? Big whoop. I care not. I just want to enjoy my own streams. I don't care if anybody else is streaming. Up there enjoying their stream though. Don't really get out over still yet. Myself, Landy, SFTN, and Simulate all kind of have a somewhat unwritten gentleman's agreement that we generally try not to overstream each other if we're playing the same game. Like Sundays when I'm at Explain, that's fair game for anybody. But it's just kind of a gentleman's agreement between us. It's not some sort of rule that we've made up for the farm sim community as a whole. It's just, yeah. And like there have been times where myself and Simulate have streamed farm sim over one another because I've been enjoying my stream and he started up and I couldn't be bothered finishing. Like, big what? He's gonna get massive views, I'm gonna get roughly normal views. Doesn't matter. And Daggerwin, because I do know that some people are wondering why Daggerwin streams so late. Daggerwin does that of his own accord. He doesn't want to stream over anybody who's established in the UK and Ireland community, which would be SFTN to an extent, myself, Landy, and VF. And if Daggerwin's streaming over me right now, I don't care. I hope he's enjoying his stream, and I hope the people who are in his stream are enjoying it too. That too, Tune. It's like Daggerwin's got a lot on his plate. He can't really stream until late at night. Drew, I'm with you there. I'm shocked at the lack of John Deere's on ModHub. Or John Deere tractor specifically. Sorry for bringing it up. It's fine, sympathy. It happens sometimes where people bring it up and they get basically the same "I don't really care" spiel from me. My streams are basically, I want to enjoy myself by playing a game and talking to you guys. That's my priority. And I hope you enjoy it too, because sometimes we have fun chats. Well, not just any JD tier, it would have to be like 7810, 8530. I think a 3350 would do spectacularly. Am I doing videos again? No, Dragon, I don't enjoy recording videos. Straight up. Here's the reason that my videos are few and far between. I don't enjoy recording them. Streams are so much more fun for me. Like, so much more fun. Because there's instant feedback from you guys. Like when I'm doing something really dull, I can see straight away people are leaving and you know, chat's dying down, so I can change the topic or do something different for a bit. Whereas in videos, I'm just talking to my computer for like half an hour, and that's not fun to me. There are a host of 10, 20, 30 series released. Where is this fast farming? Because, like, I'm talking specific to the mod hub. Thought Dagger's gone full-time with YouTube. I don't know Massey, but even then, he's got multiple channels, so he's still got a lot going on. And I'll be real with you guys, I don't watch Daggerman's videos. I watch Machinery Restorer, though, because that is my jam. That is the style of video that I find really, really, really fun to watch. And really enjoyable. He has... See, I think Machinery Restorer will take a lot of his time. Because that gets killer views as well, and there's often a lot more work involved as he tries to figure out how the hell to fix something. Tuesday went full time. Oh, sweet. I hope he does well. I hope, I hope he's not sacrificing quality of life to do YouTube full time. And I hope it works out for him. Because he's one of the good guys. He is a really nice guy, and frankly, he knows that he can make fun of me all he wants. Because he does in his Discord when I start making fun of him. He also knows that when I do that, it's me trying to normalize it, because people seem to think of him as some sort of weird god of some description. And it's like, why are you holding Dagowin at this ridiculously high standard? It's like, he's a dude. He screws up, he farts, he poops. He's not some sort of god king. And I never get why people think that about YouTubers. It's like, yeah, they're human too, they poop just like anybody else. Some of his viewers are very young. This is true. That's why I make fun of him to a certain extent. Hey, Fabio. That's why I make fun of Dagowin to a certain extent, is just kind of letting his viewers know, especially the younger ones, that, you know, anything they do, he does too. He makes mistakes. Oh, he doesn't poop, take it back. Hey, CD. Dagowin's a guy who has lots of good ideas. I can see where he got the inspiration for some of them. And I truly wonder how he comes up with some others. I'm sure the guys that come in expecting me to start drama constantly are like, oh, why is Dave being nice to everybody? It's boring. And I'm just like, I can't be bothered with drama anymore. I'll follow drama on Twitter because, oh boy, is Twitter drama fun to follow. I don't engage in it. If you're Mark Armstrong, yeah, I've spoken to him a few times, Dragon. That's cool. You have heard about Transport Fever 2 coming out? Isn't it not out until like early next week? I'd love to get Transport Fever 2, but I can't afford it because I spent all of my money on the X-Plane Black Friday sale, and now I'm saving up for like Dead Stick and FS 2020 and the Tolus A321 for X-Plane, and yeah, don't have money to go spare for that. It's coming out tomorrow. Oh. Hey, Jag. It's funny seeing people make fools out of themselves. This is true. How's Mark streaming now? Yeah, I don't know. Mark streams when he can. I understand why Mark streams so much. Like, me and the guys on TeamSpeak have spoken to Mark about that in the past, and just kind of curious why he streams so much. I understand why he does. And, yeah, there's zero ill will there. Flight Sim 2020, or MSFS, or Microsoft Flight Simulator, or Flight Simulator, or MSFS 20, or FS20, because the Flight Sim community has come up with 17 different acronyms for the same game. Evening, Massey. And Massey. Explain is amazing? Yes, it is. I need to jiggle the settings for my A320 though, because it eats frames currently. No, Massey. You have like 200? I've got over 1,000. I don't mess about when I like a game. It gets like 1,000 hours. Did I get an update on the thing? Well, the update is that the 2 days off that I'm planning for the thing will be this week. I was anticipating getting the email yesterday. It didn't happen. I'm basically on a daily basis anticipating getting the email now. But the 2 days I have planned off and I have been planning off for... I'm kind of moving about. Are probably going to be this week. To go ham on the thing. The good flight sim with really nice planes, good volumetric clouds, beautiful views, and I mean, it's the thing that's made Bing Maps look cool. You know, that's an impossible task in itself. Is it's made people think Bing Maps is cool. I can say what the thing is, though. I'm not allowed to give my opinions on the thing when I do get it and when I've played it. Because the thing is Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. But I'm not, there is an NDA in place. I can say that I'm getting the alpha, or I'm in the alpha, but I'm not allowed to give my opinions and whatnot, and share videos or streams or pictures or whatnot, because it, you know, it's the first alpha. Things are going to go wrong. It's a thing in gaming. I completely get why Microsoft have everybody under NDA for it, because it's gonna get a lot of people into Flight Sim. It's gonna, like, take over from FSX as the thing that gets people into Flight Sim. Will I be streaming it? Not allowed. Until it's out. I'll be buying it and streaming it when it's out. Haven't touched it yet, but frankly, from what I've seen from the promotional materials and information packs they've put out, and they're all public, it's something that pretty much tickles everything I want. So it's going to be a game that I get. It's going to be a game that I stream. I'm possibly going to... Quite possibly, Anna's, yes. Because for all... Dude, Tiernan, it's literally the only platform that it's not coming out for. Well, Massey, the thing about Microsoft Flight Sim, it's literally all ortho. When you see people on Twitch or whatever using ortho, it's usually that they're using Bing Maps. I think it will, Drew. For the most part. Because I think they're going to bring it on to the Xbox 3 or 2 or whatever they want to call the next one. The controls of the Xbox version will likely be watered down a bit. Blackout, hello. Explains more built for realistic. Have you been watching the feature discovery series for Flight Sim, Massey? Because oh boy, the sick of flying planes and just cause. Oh boy. Project Scarlet. But like, that's not gonna be the name they launch it with. It's gonna be the Xbox Flange-tastic 3. Which, if it is called the Xbox Flange-tastic 3, I am so suing Microsoft. I'm doing good. How are you, Blackout? Should I trademark Xbox Flange-tastic 3? Or just Flange-tastic in general? 748 turning? Yeah. You want Nico's setup, Massey? I don't blame you, but that's $2.5 million. 9-day seasons, yeah. You willing to pay that if you're British? They're a group in... I think it's East Midlands. That have a sim that they use... They rent out to the public. For a couple of hours at a time. Stuart91, thank you very much for the follow. Lovely views and airliners. Yeah, that's fair enough, but the physics are not really there. And I'm a physics kind of guy. I think it's Team JetSim on Twitch. Massey? Yeah, it's Team JetSim on Twitch. All one word. As Team JetSim. They're one of the World Flight teams. And I think they have a sim that they rent out. And it is a level D as well. Flight Sim 2020 is not coming to PS4. It is a Microsoft exclusive. Hey, Sim man. It's going good. How's it going with you? Xbox and PC, that is it for Flight Sim 2020. Because, I mean, Microsoft ain't gonna give Sony a damn thing. Especially not their most hyped game since Halo, really. Like, this is Big Daddy coming back into the Flight Sim sphere. This is something that people didn't expect would ever happen. It's something that has been kept top secret for 5 bloomin' years. Yeah, I know Master Chief Collection on PC, Yanis. Have a look at a channel called Rimmy, Down Under Gaming, Yanis. He did a video on... It was a Halo Reach, and the wonderful situation that they're in Peterborough. I thought they were East Midlands. What, Sony rivaled them? Sony have no experience of flight sims. Microsoft basically invented them. Big difference there. Microsoft are the big daddy of flight sims. There is no taking on Microsoft. JetSim School, it's called Flight Experience. There you go. So, maybe have a look at their pricings and whatnot for a couple of hours in the sim. I watched the video. I watched the stream, and oh my god, it was terrible. Don't think any. I genuinely believe this, that Microsoft's new flight sim is the best looking game in history. Like, $750 for the day? That's not bad value. I've seen other sims running £400 for an hour. Or $400 for 2 hours. $750 for a day is pretty good. Microsoft have the cash monies. They also have the history. Microsoft are going back to basics. Like, almost anybody on PC at least who is into flight sims has played at one point FSX. Including Landy, including me. When does Flight Sim 2020 come out? We don't know. They haven't actually announced a release date. The presumption is sometime next year. Probably mid to late 2020. And I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm gonna be honest. When that comes out, the channel is switching to a flight sim channel for like 2 weeks. Because I want to play it. And I want to play the snot out of it. For 2 hours, it's $2.29. That's still pretty good. What are the required specs for it then? They don't know yet. When that happens, you're subscribing. Massey, I don't have subscriptions available on Twitch. 007 even. You can hit the join thingy on YouTube, but yeah. Wonder if FSX or any flight sim games. FS 2020, Robert, is coming out on Xbox One. Not Xbox One. Well, almost definitely not Xbox One. Almost definitely Project Scarlet. I can tell you what the community reckons the required for Takeoff 1 is, because it seems like everybody who has. You need to apply for sub on Twitch. No, I don't, because if I do that, Massey, the contract you sign with Twitch says you can't restream. So I would have to pick YouTube or Twitch, and I like doing both. If, however, one day Twitch got much, much bigger, I would swap over to Twitch full-time. Because I think Twitch has a bit more of a future, it's a bit less of a hellscape than YouTube is when it comes to, like, trying to figure stuff out. I do have plans for YouTube and for. Well, there's the join thing on YouTube, which is the same as a Twitch sub. Do I really have every state and continent? Oh, Drew, flight sims have had the entire world in since FSX. It's just that FS 2020 is going to be the first to dynamically generate everything. Previously, everything had to be modeled. See, simply, FS 2020 are seemingly using some sort of algorithm to dynamically generate buildings in the exact right spot with the rough correct design. But all the roads are going to be roughly correct. Landmarks should mostly be there. It's going to be the first flight sim where you can actually do visual flight rules correctly and use real world landmarks and whatnot to figure out where the hell you are. And I'll be honest, my first flight is going to be from, assuming I can do it in Alpha 1, is going to be from either Cork or Waterford Airport to my house. Because I could totally do VF4 from Cork to my house. I think I could do it from Waterford to my house. Now, granted, I'd have to do some funky stuff to get the plane down to the ground, but I think a 2080. I think a 2080 should run it. Kind of creepy they know where I live. I'm kind of curious as to like what the Irish house designs will be like in flight sim, because mine's an old 60s house. The house I'm in is was built in, I think it was 1964 or something like that. Do. But there's a few. Here's the fun thing. I have basically 3 places I can visit, both in Ireland and the UK, that I know fairly well. You can visit my house here, obviously, the house that I lived in university for 2 years, and the student halls that I lived in for a year. You've uninstalled FarmSim? Fair enough, Massey. That's the thing, yes, yeah. It's, I can't remember if Bing has Street View. Or their own version, which they wouldn't call Street View because they don't want to be seen as ripping off Google, even though they've got a very similar maps platform. That actually has better quality images than Google. As a fun FYI. Bing Maps is higher quality than Google Maps. It's just that it's not as popular. Because Google Maps is much easier to get around. Totally not getting PC built on PC part picker. Buy components separately, put together yourself, you will save hundreds of dollars. I should probably actually convert this into the Silage spec, shouldn't I? You know how I'm not bored yet? Because streaming makes it a lot more fun. Plus, I've just taken a month away from, like, everything to do with FarmSim. And this is my favorite map. Yeah, much the same way that Landy can play the snot out of Thornton for a year at a time. I can play the snot out of this map for a year at a time. Wonder if you can die when you crash. I would imagine they'll probably have some sort of crash physics in. But there are 2 games that the channel's going to basically swap up to Flight Sim Channel for. One is obviously Microsoft Flight Sim. The other is Dead Stick, which is going to be a bush flight simulator. And that's honestly one that I'm, I guess, not as excited about, because it's not as huge and ambitious. But I'm also very excited about it at the same time because it's different and it's ambitious in its own way. So, hey IRT, go to bed. Mod Maker's good, gameplay's just boring now. The gameplay needs a lot of work for FS21, Massey, I'm gonna be real. I already said it. FS21 needs to be a gameplay-focused design. Can you rough idea what you're to buy? Spend as much as you possibly can, Blackout. This is weird advice. Spend as much as you can. Because you pay for quality largely. RAM you can skimp on. Although I would say go DDR4. What else can you kind of skimp on a bit? Hard drives you can kind of skimp on. Because they're getting hilariously cheap. I was pricing them up the other day on Amazon and I was like, holy crap. It's good, yeah, the PSU you definitely don't want to skimp on. Seasons-based game water and windshield, on tires, lime on tires, snow on tires. Yeah, I'm with you there, Drew. Also, orchards. Should be concentrating on the gameplay. I think if Giants are smart, by the way, hello Mr. Jeremy, if I didn't say hello to you already. If Giants are being very smart, they're looking at what the community is saying right now and seeing that the consensus is pretty much FS21 needs gameplay. And then looking at what the more interesting things are, and I think orchard farming is something that they will be looking at. Because it's interesting and different, and they can kind of introduce a lot more equipment for that. And then it's just kind of, you start being strict on modders as well. Oh, Blackout, go both. SSD for Windows, HDD for games. Unless you can get a massively cheap SSD. I know Landy's got a terabyte SSD for games. now. Because he found it super cheap. But yeah, SSD is for boots, for like stuff you want to launch quickly. HDD is bulk storage, and go with as big of a hard drive as you can. I'm looking into getting a new hard drive very soon. It's probably going to be my next purchase, to be honest. And I'm hoping to get it at the end of next month, end of January 2020, if all things go well. But it's probably going to be realistically February, March of next year I end up getting a new hard drive, just to bulk up the storage in this PC. I'm looking at somewhere between 4 and 8 terabytes. Need Irish brands. That's where modders come in. That's where people like that's where 4D comes in. He just throws all the Irish brands in. But I think more smaller brands would be cool. Spec requirements for FS 21. They should be similar to 19. The ability to milk cows via milking machinery and clean the pens like you would in real life. How would they mirror in a silo? That'd be nice. But bear in mind, and I know this is an unpopular thing to say, but it is the truth. Farm Sim is not a simulator. It is Simcade. There is a balance that they want to strike, and it is intentional, between what is traditionally seen as a hardcore simulator and what people decry as arcade. They are intentionally striking a balance there, and the balance is aimed more at arcade because it's more mass appeal. You know, I ain't gonna lie there, that's an intentional thing. I've spoken to Giants about it and said, do you know what, as much as people complain, it's a brilliant idea. It's a brilliant idea from a business perspective, because going slightly arcade, or as arcade as Farm Sim is, whether you think it's good or bad, is brilliant for business, because mods can make it more realistic. Mods can't make it more arcadey, and people who want a more arcadey experience aren't going to intentionally go out and look for arcade mods. People who want a more realistic experience are going to go out and look for much more, like, for mods that make the game more realistic, like seasons, like the weight increase mods, fuel consumption mods. They're going to go out of their way to look for those. And that's, I think, what people are forgetting about why modders are important, and, you know, why Giants, in a sense, do rely on mods. It's because what Giants can't do for business reasons, modders can do for free. With Giants' help. You know, Giants have people now who, one of their jobs is to just help modders. Among other things, like in their downtime at work, they are tasked with just, hey, this modder's doing something cool and we want it in game, could you help them? But people overlook that because it's much more popular to go with the Giants hate modders narrative. Couldn't be farther from the truth. Giants are making it more difficult at times. That I cannot argue with. They don't hate modders though. I was thinking of building a custom desk for it. You know, I gotta do modder setups, and you're doing hauls, you can do other things. Desk you have now is too small. I mean, my desk is tiny and I've got to do a monitor setup. It's just one of them's at a really jaunty angle. You can make things work that shouldn't. Don't I think Giants should allow monitors to ask the company for a license, make it easier for them? Yes and no. Yes, it would make things like modders should be able to ask the company for a license. No, it wouldn't make things easier for Giants, because odds are there's a reason they made that change, because it used to be in 17 that if you got the license, yourself, Giants were able to use it. Seemingly something changed in the meantime, and now Giants need to have the license. I think it's just them covering themselves legally, because it's potentially very expensive if a company decides that while the modder had the license, the game did not. And that could be very expensive for Giants. It's just a cover your ass technique. Whether or not I agree with it is irrelevant. Mods are a huge part of Farm Sim. Like Mike, Mike3650 did a poll on Giants Forum, which inexplicably people thought was a Giants poll. No, it's just a poll on Giants Forum made by somebody else. And like 90% of people said they like Farm Sim needs mods. Possibly, that's also possible, Yanis, yeah. There's a whole litany of things that could happen if modders are getting licenses but Giants aren't. You know, it's the Giants listen to the mod. I mean, Giants have very openly admitted that mods are what makes Farm Sim great. Mods are the heart of Farm Sim. If you watch the pre-release streams where I was with Giants, you'd have known that one of my things that I was doing was really pushing that mods are the heart of the game, and modders are, you know, just as important, I would argue more important than any given player. And modders are, you know, modders are what makes the game what it is. If Farm Sim didn't have mods, it wouldn't be anywhere near as successful. You like Chris, but Lars needs to be the community manager. I don't have an opinion on Chris. I've not spoken to him, so I'm not going to comment on that, Drew. Yeah, it's very easy for me to say, oh, I prefer Lars. Well, I've met Lars in person. I haven't met Chris. So, you know, I'm not going to let that inherent bias get in my way there, and I'm not going to comment on that, on who I think should be community manager. That said, I think Lars is very good at whatever job he takes on. He's one of these people that just kind of gets ideas into his head and runs with them. Anyone else say it all? There was one mod today, apparently. But remember, not every day is going to have mods, because not every mod is going to pass testing. I think Farm Sim League has kind of been a bit of a heavy focus for Giants to the potential detriment of the game. What are my PC specs? I forgot to change the specs command. i7 4790K at 4.2 GHz, running a slight overclock. 32 gigs RAM. 2070 Strix 80C. 4 terabyte hard drive and 150 gig SSD for Windows. Did Giants watch those videos and take ideas? I would assume so. I didn't actually ask Lars that. That's not like, I know that he, when he was like full-time community manager, can't talk about what's going on now because I don't know. But he was like lurking on Facebook and whatnot, and all that kind of stuff going on. Northlife, oh, I want that now. Didn't even know you put 32 gigs of DDR4 RAM in this build. Whoops. More RAM is more better, especially if you want to make videos. It's something that I accidentally did that was brilliant. Is when you put more RAM into a PC, it helps with rendering speeds. I didn't realise that. I just wanted lots of RAM. Because I like using Google Chrome and it tends to eat RAM. It's €45. I still want it, Yanis. Can we crowdfund a copy of the Nordschleife Monopoly just for me so that I can just have it? Hey, Talkmaid's Car Club. How you doing today, dude? Of course, rendering. Yes, especially if your rendering program is able to detect, if you got Intel, virtual cores. Every buyable property is good. There are 114 buyable properties? Or are they not breaking up Flansgarten into Flansgarten 1 and Flansgarten 2? Or are they not breaking up Dreifach Rechts or Miss Hit Miss into like 3 separate corners? Miss, hit, miss again. Am I excited for the new farm sim? I mean, there's no info on it, so no. I don't get excited based off nothing. Partially family funded or an agri, mainly me. It's my favorite tractor in game. It's actually like, it's between this and the armor track. I tend to like smaller, weirder tractors. Because I can find uses for them that are a bit out there, a bit weird. Super nice Unimog for FS19. Ooh. Might have a look at that. It's not all the corners. Oh, boo. I would love to see a Monopoly board that tries to fit in 117 properties. Drew, Giants are always looking for more brands. It's one of their things. Sometimes they'll take brands on, sometimes they won't. It's 100% up to them and what they want to see in game themselves. Yeah, they have a vision and they work with it. Full article in Discord. Why don't you use manual attach? Because I can't stand it. I find it extremely annoying, Dragon Skies. It's by Wobster. Wobster's a great dude. He makes great mods. I can't stand manual attach. It is the most annoying mod for me that exists. Expendable modding, really nice. Where is it available, CD? Like, then again, I presume it'll be on, like, Yes Mods, because he tends to collect the best mods. You find it realistic? Oh, it is realistic. That doesn't mean I can't find it really annoying. Glad JD in class are now in game. I'm glad to an extent, but I feel like the focus on brands in FS19 has been to the detriment of gameplay. Because like the gameplay is much the same as 17, just with just with like sparkling new things. That's another thing, Liam. Yeah, some trailers you can just hook hitch. Do I have any recommendations for you? Enjoy what you're doing and find your voice. Like, do your own thing. If you find something that somebody else is doing that you really like, break it down into what it is at a very, very basic level, and then work it back up into something of your own design. So, we'll say with, let's take roleplays, for example. You know, VF has his roleplay. I don't know what it's like. I can tell you what my roleplay was like when I did it. It was chaos and mentalness, because that's kind of how I work and how my brain works. VF's, I think, is a bit more realistic. SFTN's is kind of as if he's the farmer, working the farm, blah 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 blah. And then Dargowin's is kind of like a TV drama. And it's, you know, there's so many different takes on, let's make some characters and pretend to be them in Farm Sim. Time-lapse there's not a whole lot you can do with. That's... time lapse is very much a set thing that you have to do a certain way. In an ideal world, you'll have something that you have come up with that's either unique or a spin on something somebody else has done. Something like a roleplay time-lapse would be different. I don't know of anybody doing a roleplay exclusively through time-lapses. That would be different. I don't know if it would work, but it's an idea to put a spin on it. But then again, your roleplay would have to be different from Daggerwin's. Like, vastly different from Daggerwin's. For it to work very well. What I'd like to see in FS21, more gameplay, orchard farms, expansion of animals, expansion of forestry. I think forestry, I don't know, there's something missing in forestry right now. You can't get it. Yeah, that's the problem with time-lapse bits for me, is like, there's no hook. If it's like, I'll watch certain time-lapses, like Transport Fever building time-lapses, I'll watch them because there's a hook there. There's not really that hook in farms in generally, but if you can make a hook to get people to view it in the first place, you can get some stuff to happen that way. Placeable system, yeah, that is not working as intended. True. Like, that needs a complete rebuild. I get where Giants wanted to go with it, it just did not go that way at all. The farm sim doesn't work for you. I think there are ways to make it work. That's the thing. There are ways to make things that shouldn't work. Because like, you think of a roleplay, it's basically a very slow-moving Let's Play. At times. And you're doing silly stuff because your script or your storyline demands that you do silly stuff. In a normal Let's Play, lots of that stuff wouldn't work. And to an extent, roleplays didn't work for a long time. As far as I'm aware, mine was one of the first that actually did. And did gain popularity, and that's where the roleplay fad that everybody jumped on came from, was mine. And granted, my ideas have kind of faltered lately because, I don't know, I'm just not as into farm sim as I used to be. Flight sims are where my jam is now, and the easiest idea in flight sim is a world tour. Hey, answer. Can't get somebody to watch way too many farm sim videos. I don't watch any, and like time lapses, if I were to watch one, would be right down there at the bottom of the list. Unless there was an interesting hook being done with the time lapse. If there's something interesting that grabs you immediately about that time lapse, odds are you'll watch it. And I mean, you have to have, number one, you have to have a good thumbnail. There is no having a bad thumbnail on YouTube anymore. It's just not something you can do. Now, it's a lot easier to get a good thumbnail in farm sim because all you have to do is set a hard worker or cruise control on your tractor and take a picture as your tractor's working. Especially if it's like kicking up dust and whatnot. Look at the thumbnail for today's stream. It's literally just, I set up cruise control, tractor's kicking up a lot of dust and whatnot. Boom, thumbnail, look good. Plowing gives particularly good thumbnails. Silage work sometimes gives spectacular thumbnails. Anything that raises a lot of dust, like harvesting, those thumbnails can look amazing. Because it looks a lot more dynamic when there's dust and whatnot going on. Hey again, Pa, and hello, Mr. Jingles. technical type time lapses or something you'd watch. Okay, this might sound weird to you guys, because you know how chaotic I tend to be. I'm a very dull person. I love myself a good documentary. I will sit down and binge watch documentaries for hours. And I will get extremely offended if I find a typo in a documentary that's on TV, like I did last month, where I had a massive rant on Discord about a single typo in a documentary. Hello, Dunica and Baron Lodge. I don't know what that word is, Baron Lodge. And I will need explanation. Thing that I don't understand, sheep at college. History documentaries, yes. They're my jam, and I get very offended if there's a mistake. Oh, pregnancy scanning. I don't know what that stands for, so I'm going to not comment. How many sheeplings are you expecting? So, this is the last field for silage, by the way, so we should have the silage all done today. The only minor issue is like grabbing all the equipment from the other field. It's just occurred to me that I might have crop destruction turned on. $200 sheeplings, 2 are meant to have quad sheeplings. Which, by the way, sheepling is a much better word than lamb. Like, in my opinion. Granted, I invented the word, so obviously I'm going to think it's better. But it sounds better than lamb. At least you know what animal it's related to. Here's the salary players out there with mow field all by themselves, or they're on a machine like this. You do, but you're curious. I mean, I do. I do smaller. I've spent hours mowing a field before because I just genuinely like taking time to do mindless mowing like this. It's, roast sheepling is better than sheepling. The way I mow is horrible. The way I do most things, a lot of people think is wrong, Ian, so I don't take offense. I just laugh at people getting offended by the way I play a farming game. Do I have crop destruction turned on, by the way? I do. Stop that. Plow all starter fields with a little 30 gray. If you use the 5-furrow plow, that's a 3 meter working width. I might actually start doing some work with the Fergie Grey, because I think it's wider than the plow I actually have. Let me just check. No, fun fact, this is a game, yes. Plow I have is... Okay, the Fergie might actually be a better tractor for plowing than the Axion 800. Because the little Fergie plow is wider than the plow that I have. That's an interesting problem. You don't hire workers? I rarely hire workers. Much to the annoyance of people who get bored of me doing like one job for half an hour or 2 hours, however long, but you know, I prefer playing this way. This is the way I play. If you like it, then hooray! If you don't, then hooray! You know, so there's something for everybody on YouTube at this point. It's my favorite tractor. Of all time, it's like between the Fergie Grey and the Massey 135. 135 takes it, but only just. But the little Fergie Grey, I'm always gonna love that. Yes, but it's not reversible. Yes, but it's wider than the plow that I have. By the way, a bit of shameless shilling here. On Sunday night, I think it was. No, Saturday night? It was Saturday night. I put up a video of my local Christmas parade, which had a lot of tractors in it. You guys might want to watch that if you're into tractors, which I'm presuming if you're watching Farm Sim, you maybe are. So, give that a watch if you want to see tractors with Christmas lights on. And me getting hyper spooked by a New Holland T6080 doing a honk. Because I was not expecting it to be that loud. You're calling your custom build the Red Knight? Mine's called Rex. After Rex from Mass Effect. My old PC, the original PC, was called Tally. You watched it? That was really fun. Like, that was... I know it is, like, literally... was the running care. I mean, I'm not gonna say where I live, Agri. If I said it was the local parade, and I said on Discord that I walked to it, it's going to be very, very close to me, so I'm not gonna say where it was. But if your town runs something similar to that, I suggest you go, because it's kind of fun watching the guys that put in way too much effort, and then the guys that just like clearly went to like Poundland or the €2 store that day, and it's just like, I need some lights because I'm supposed to be in a Christmas parade today, and I don't have any lights for my tractor, so can I have, like, all of the fairy lights that you have, please? Because I need to put them on my tractor. And they've clearly just got the cheapest stuff going. One of the guys even, I don't know if it was in the video, had a little generator in the back of their tractor. Like, I think it was a Massey that went up with a box on the back. It had a generator in it. Like, that's a guy that went way over the top. Were some big tractors in the parade? Yeah, there's tractors I see locally. So now, you guys know when I say, oh, I see a bit of everything locally. I'm not kidding. There was a bit of everything in that parade. Including a Fairy Light Fast Track. And, you know, an Axion 800. There were two Axion 800s. You know, a few T7s. A case or two. Some Masseys. Some John Deeres. I don't lie when I say there's a whole bunch of weird and wonderful tractors around me. You might have noticed, though, there was no 11090 because there aren't any around here. Well, there are one or two, but, like, it's not a tractor that's particularly used. Around here has traditionally been Ford area, like, very, very Ford heavy, historically. That same thing in your town. It's fun to go see. Like, and I know that it's kind of silly, and you know, there's not a whole lot going on, but you know, it's fun to see and fun to see. It's good to get into kind of a good mood and a Christmas spirit in a way. 4, Neon, JCB, Fent, JD Massey. Yeah, oddly, I don't think there was a Fent in the parade, which was odd because there are definitely a few Fents around, a couple of 700s. $22, $27, $89. Is that before you add in stuff that you've probably forgotten, like a keyboard, a mouse, some monitors? What else could you... are you likely to have forgotten? Some sort of microphone, possibly? Some sort of headphones or speakers? It's nice, especially for the kids that love tractors and Christmas. Yeah, it's nice for tractor fans in general. Just like it's a run-of-the-mill tractor run just with Christmas lights. I'm gonna try in 2020 to like go out a bit more if there's a tractor run in town or nearby and try and get to them. Especially if they're like in town or nearby where I am, specifically, I will like walk a couple of miles, hope ideally to go see one. Problem there is I need to work out my fitness because walking into town is about half a mile, probably a bit less, and I was very breathless, even though it's downhill to get into town, or into the part of town I was in. But it's uphill all the way home, and oh my god, that was painful. You're going to be getting these accessories separately. I would say keyboard and mouse are necessities, not accessories. Same goes for some sort of sound equipment. The big Zeta Forterra in the local parade, very nice, Leinster. Coming back and feel tip, always tip. Always and forever tip. Failing that cork. Like half my family's from Cork, so I'm always gonna go like tip and then Cork. And then like in the provincials, just monster everything. Monster everything. I hope the tip footballers do well again this year, though. There's been a lot of effort put in by, not the county board, but by the local teams to try and get football up to a good standard in tip. County board's been slacking big time. And the Munster Council's not been helping either. You're bailing at 6 miles an hour. Very nice. See, man, that's not actually too slow. In real life, you'd probably bail around there, wouldn't you? I think one lonely farmer bails at 6.4 or something, usually, and he's bailing pretty heavy material as well. But it would depend on the baler you're using. Some balers will work at 10 miles an hour, some will work at 6, some will work at 4, some will work at like 1, if they're particularly old. In before somebody complains about my spiral. Part of Ireland am I from? Tipperary. The part that speaks English. I'm not from O'Gaeltacht. Use a small bale, 2 to 3 miles an hour on the farm. Yeah, I mean, baling is done at whatever speed the baler can handle. Without wrecking bales. There's no... It's something that Farm Sim gets people to think is that, there is no north or south riding in Tipperary anymore, Leinster. It's just Tipperary. County councils merged back in 2014, I think it was. 13 or 14. No more North and South Riding Tipperary. It's just Tipperary. Use Master Race, Razor Mamba Tournament Edition, it's red and black, got it free. That's not a bad mouse. I wouldn't go with the Mamba myself. Doesn't have anywhere near enough buttons for me. Beneath or Cashel? Above or beneath Cashel? Cashel is to the north. Above where I am. It's actually kind of north. Yeah, it's north-ish. Nina. Oh, Nina's very far north. That said, even though Nina's very far north and that's where Abbey Machinery are based, County Tipperary as a whole is very Abbey heavy. Yeah, Cashel is north-ish of where I am. Like back when I was helping my dad train the local footballers, we were in the South Championship in Tip. As a vague indication of how far south I actually am. I will say Cashel's close enough that I know there's a fantastic Thai restaurant there. They do some quite delicious duck. I haven't had duck in a long time. I had duck a couple of weeks ago. Do you have to buy a sound card? You don't need to buy a sound card. Most motherboards will handle that perfectly fine. Wireless network adapter, if you buy the correct motherboard, you don't need to, but generally speaking, you probably will. My motherboard has built-in wireless network adapter, so that's not something I need to worry about. You see, get on for stock cars. I've not been to Rose Green in years. Last time I was there, I think was for the last... Yeah, it was for the last time Pro Drift was there. Was the last time I was in Rose Green for the Rose Green Raceway. You had to buy an adapter. You like the wear and tear in the pipe? Oh god, yeah, that's really cool actually. That makes sense too. I like it when the wear is logical. something that I was complaining about with dirt. It's like, when the dirt skin makes no sense, I will complain. Or when the wear skin makes no sense, I will complain. But if it makes perfect sense, then I'm going to, like, praise it as making complete and utter sense. Then again, some people think I just have vendettas against certain mod teams. I do to a small extent. But at the same time, it's like, I just don't like the mods they decide to bring out. Or I don't like a certain aspect of their mods that's very consistent within their mods. By the way, has everybody heard, I presume you all have at this point, about Arm Team? That Arm Team is basically done with modding due to a family issue of some sort. I have an idea from the language used what it is. I don't know though, so I'm not going to comment on like what specifically it is. It sucks though. It does suck. Like, as much as I've worked on Arm Team in the past, it's never nice to see somebody need to quit for family issues. And for that kind of reasoning. So I hope, for their sake, that everything goes well, and it ends as well as possible. Dave in stereo with 1 second delay sounds like hell. RIP. I mean, me in stereo is bad enough, never mind the 1 second delay. That'll do. Can I fit the... Yeah, I can totally fit the 400 in there. Some things the wear and dirt is terrible. Yeah, some of the Giants things, even, the wear is atrocious. Like the Giants telehandlers, some of them have fantastic wear, and some of them is just like, have you just attacked the back of this with an angle grinder? Because no, that's not how machinery wears anywhere ever. The keyboard and headset price is $24.81 $86. What keyboard are you getting? What headset are you getting? Because you can get on Amazon an Alrelli mechanical keyboard that is... It's the one I use. It's about $50. Thereabouts. And it's, like, really good. However, unless you want hyperclick like what I have, don't go with blue switches. Go with, like, red. But I like the hyperclick. It's my own personal preference. That's actually why I don't use my keyboard too much in streams. It's because I know people get annoyed with the hyperclick going on and think that I'm bashing my keyboard when in fact I'm just pressing the buttons. Especially when I'm typing. But if you like it, then go with blue switches. If you don't, then red switches. Corsair K68 RGB wired gaming keyboard. Corsair Void RGB 11 Elite 7.1 channel headset. I mean, there are definitely options. I wouldn't go with Corsair for a headset though. Personally, like if you're wanting to spend big on a headset, go with something like Audio Technica. Go with like a brand that is known for making sound equipment. Like historically, I've been very loyal to Sennheiser. Now I've got my Logitech. There are issues with this headset that I don't like. I don't like the microphone quality. I don't like, and some people might like this, I don't, the incredible bass that the headphones have. When Silver comes on TeamSpeak, I have to turn him down like an insane amount because his voice is so deep, and it just like it booms into my ears. So anything that's like got deep sounds is horrific to listen to in this headset. However, I can make out the bass line like every song ever now. Find that bit high? Yeah. It's efficient silage pitting. Silage sitting. Yes. As for keyboard, honestly, you can get away with fairly cheap keyboards. Also, oh, you got a mouse. Keyboards you can kind of get away with going cheap. Like, I had a Razer one before, and it just wasn't very good. And this Already is pretty good. It sometimes doubles up letters, which is a bit odd. But generally speaking, it's pretty good. That said, I think the next mechanical keyboard I get will likely have red switches, just so that it's a bit more usable in general, and doesn't sound like I'm bashing the snot out of it all the time. Because the blue was maybe a bit overkill for noise. By the way, John, the reason I'm piling the pit so high is number one, because I find it hilarious that you can do that. Number two, because when I start compacting it, it's going to all kind of come down a lot, and I kind of like having a ramp. I like having the silage ramp as the pit, so it'll come down probably quite significantly. Because I need to compact it. That's going to be actually the next... No, it's not going to be the next step. Next job is going to be putting a line down on the grass fields. Then we will compact down the silage. Don't really care about accessories. The two things I'd say spend a bit more on: mouse and headset. Because a good headset, you can hear the difference between a good headset and a bad headset. And a cheap mouse quite often breaks very quickly. Oh, Sean, my keyboard's RGB technically. It's as cheap as you can get an RGB as far as I'm aware. Especially an RGB mechanical. So I don't really care if the RGB stops working. Has the Sennheiser GSP 350? I don't know. The better person to ask about like headset quality, especially high-end Sennheisers, would be Simulate. He is kind of the sound expert of our little group. I tend to be more of the technical side of things, and then Landy is components, really, to an extent. Went up on a puff of smoke. It blew a cap? Like, do you mean literally a puff of smoke? Because that's a cap blowing out. That shouldn't happen. What? How could it blow a capacitor? Those things run off 5 volts. So you're used like 6 months. I bought one for £7 in Tesco before, and it lasted off 2 months. Apparently, Tesco cheapo mice are not designed for somebody who is a power user of a PC. You have a Piranha M20. I have a cheapo Chinese one that's actually working fairly well. It's one of those ones that has 12 buttons on the side. Because of course I need excessive amounts. I'm one of these people that just needs excessive amounts of macro keys. So it's a macro mouse. It's surprisingly good considering it was cheap and on Amazon. Because I think at the time I didn't have much money to spend on a mouse. We tuned the side, might upgrade. I mean, a 5-button mouse is pretty much ideal. 5 buttons is good for me. 7 is kind of closer to the ideal. My current 25, 26, 27, 28 button mouse, 3 of which are just kind of changing mouse settings, but the 28 buttons on it. You might usually get sort out because, yeah, it's usually right click. No, not right click. Left click fails, especially with Logitech mice. They got a weakness there. Any interest in rugby? Small bit. I like watching it. I've been to a few Ultra matches. Not in the last year or so. But, woo. I've been to a few Monster matches, been to... What are they calling Musgrave Park now? Is it Irish Independent Park? I've been to Thomond as well. In terms of like other Irish stadia, I've been to Croke Park. I think it's 3 or 4 times now. For various reasons. In terms of football, went to college, or went to uni in Sunderland, so you couldn't go there without seeing a Sunderland match, which I did. But I kind of went a weird way about it because I went to college, or uni, or whatever you want to call it, at the same time that England had the World Cup bid, and Sunderland was one of the host city nominations. The Stadium of Light was one of the nominated stadiums. So I got involved, because they were looking for volunteers, in a filming day for the World Cup bid. And as a thank you, the club gave everybody involved that day a free match ticket. So, I've never been to the Aviva. I got to have a kickabout. I'm not a big football, like soccer fan, but I got to have a kickabout in a Premier League stadium. Because they were in the Premier League at the time. I know they're in like League 2 now or whatever. But you know, got to have a kickabout in the Premier League stadium, and then like 2 weeks later went to see a match. And then because the University of Sunderland is pretty closely affiliated with the club, I graduated in the Stadium of Light as well. So I've been there like 3 times. Really nice stadium, actually. Bit bizarre being on the pitch because, like, you realize when you're on the pitch how big the stands actually are, especially if you're like standing in the middle. Very easy to understand how Premier League players or footballers in general in these stadia can sometimes get a bit of a bit spooked. Because the stadiums are very, very intimidating. I've also been on the pitch at Semple Stadium many years ago. I've been to Semple, God, about 10 times. What other stadiums I've been to? Páirc Uí Chaoimh I've been to once or twice. Páirc na nGael I've been to once. Páirc Uí Rinn once. I think that's it. You got the tour of Thomond at school? Awesome. Newer old one. Newer old what? Park Queeve? It was the old Park Queeve. It was many years ago. I have recovered well, Brian, and as of last night, I have my e-cig back up and running. I had to buy a new barrel. Well, I had to get a new barrel, because the old barrel had rusted. The innards of the old barrel were rusting, and that was a major concern, because like when I've just been ill, I don't want any risks. That's it, Ernie. Like, you look up and you're like, oh cow, that's. When you're in the stands, you think, oh, this is quite high. When you're on the pitch, you realize, oh, that is very high. That normal is one normal. I'm very confused. Depending when you start buying parts for PC build, you get cheapest to most expensive to cheapest. I would say start off with the cheap stuff, because the cheap stuff is stuff that isn't going to get massive upgrades very soon. The most expensive, if you hold off more, you can likely get actually the next tier up a small bit cheaper, or get an improvement for the same price. That's the way I'd do it. Oh, the e-cig barrel rusting? I don't know. It's something that I've not seen as an issue much, so I'm guessing it's something that maybe I did to it, or just one of those weird things that happens occasionally. Primary school, running final Park Green. I did a secondary school football final. I used to play Gaelic football. We had a final in Holy Cross up near Thurles. Rust adds flavour. It does, but it also hides potentially bacteria, which, when you're just coming down from a very bad bacterial chest infection, any bacterial risk is not something that you're wanting to do. Even though I sterilize the crap out of it, it's one of those things that I'm just not willing to risk it. I'm going to do much the same with my a few other things that I need to clean and just make sure they're sterile. Where did I play? I was usually a cornerback. No, actually, I was usually corner forward because the very first training session we did, or I did, was like the first training session of the year with the school team. We were out in the town's pitch, and I decided I'd launch the ball, over for a point, and I hit the upright, and the entire goal started to sway because people didn't realize it, but I couldn't get much distance out of my kicks, but the power was quite insane. I'll be honest, I wasn't very good. I was way too timid for a cornerback or corner forward. Why did I give it up? Because I was terrible. I just realised this was in primary school, not secondary school. I was terrible, and I preferred basketball at the time. Now I'm not much into many sports. Like motor racing is kind of the sport that I'm most interested in, but it's not something I can afford to do. But whenever we go karting in Watergrass Hill, like, I tend to just rock around the track and wreck myself because Number one, it's very physical. Number two, I give it my all. I put 100% effort in, and I'm like ruined for 3 days afterwards. Hey Mason, I'm pretty good. How are you? I'm getting back to normality now, which is nice. Still not 100% obviously, but back to something vaguely resembling normality. You're there on Saturday? Very nice, Danica. What kind of lap times were you setting? Saturday was a bit wet, so I'd expect like 52s, I guess. 52, somewhere around the minute. What are we doing today? Working on silage, and we're just about finishing up, I think. Time-wise, we are for sure because it's 5 to 7, and field-wise, we actually are as well, because this is the last field. Danica, are you... Go check, see plenty drifting around the track as well. I do that in the dry, Danica. Turn 1 in the dry, flat out. If you turn in just right, you can actually go around turn 1 sideways. At full speed. That is fun. His computer is up and running. His laptop is completely dead. Landy's gonna be live in like 5 minutes. Is that PS4 sold? You go on PC for first time? No, I was 19. For you for now. Go-karts and wet, it's fun, it's power slide. Oh, you can power slide it in the dry too, Chris. Just need to steer it just right. Turn 1 at Watergrass Hill is a flat right sweeper, and if you turn in just right, the rear end starts to complain, and it complains big time. So it starts... Why are you not folding? There we go. It kicks itself out pretty spectacularly. And it's always fun going flat out in a go-kart, turning left in a right-hander. And then, like, further into the track, there's a series of hairpins where if you brake just right, you can again kick the back out. So, you know, if you figure out how to drive those karts with the back kind of just putting down the power. Best was 41.3. I can't remember where my sheet from the last time I was there was. I think my best is a 42. 42, 43, but my average was... my average the last time was horrific because I spun out twice and got beached once. But I tend to be... fairly quick. Definitely in like the mid 40s. As kind of a base lap time. I think 44s or something like that. There's no tracks near you? Are you sure, Blackout? Google it. There are a lot more go-karting tracks around the world than you think. Floods. I've never gone karting in at night. That would be fun. I've only been during the day, and I find that it's much more fun in the wet because the karts tend to not agree very well with any kind of action you want to take. The first time I ever went go-karting, which was the first time I drove anything, believe it or not, was in the wet. And it was on a track that had kind of a kink just before the main straight, so you're drifting onto the main straight at probably 15-20 miles an hour. Full opposite lock and all that kind of stuff. And it's just good fun. Closest track is 4 or 5 hours away. I doubt that, Blackhead. I sincerely doubt that. You're from Cavan. Well, hello, Colin. Hello to Cavan. I have an uncle that used to live up in Coot Hill. So, I've been up to Cavan a bit in the past. I haven't been for many, many years, though. Mainly because he lives in Kilkenny now, but... A forklift was your first drive? I mean, technically the first thing I drove, as in steered, was a JCB 2RX. But I was like 3, so I couldn't reach the pedals. Part of Tipperary am I from? The part that is in Tipperary and near County Cork. Oh, this has done the thing again. That's done the thing because I got literally some grass in the bucket. I'm from South Tip though. Oh, the buckets now get... I mean, okay, let's... Okay, the bucket is no longer angry. Versus a tractor. Enjoying the game? No, because this isn't actually... I think it might actually be the version of Shamrock that got released. I'm using a version that Oxy sent me before it came out, so... There we go. There's the 0 liters of grass dealt with. And I can't remember if I'm using any edited mods. But this is a funky version of Shamrock. This is not the version that's on the bottom. That's always and be able to discount the fit coming to the hairpin. Nice. You kind of do that in Rose Green or in Watergrass. Bye, Colin. You angry that this isn't multiplayer? You can kind of do that at Watergrass Hill, but you got to brake for the second corner. So it's not really all that possible. But I think it is 7 o'clock. Alright, in fact, I know it's 7 o'clock. So I think it is about time to finish up the stream for the day. I'll be back tomorrow, hopefully. Well, I may or may not be back tomorrow, depending on whether or not I get flights in. So, when I say I'll be back tomorrow, it's possibly, maybe. Plan currently is this, but it might change. I'll be back tomorrow if the plan doesn't change with more Shamrock. Until then, stay safe, and goodbye.